It's real being locked up. Yeah. It is not no play.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. But God kept us.
Yeah.
You know, our faith, our history, our love, and our respect for one another allowed us to navigate that situation.
Welcome back to The OGs, a Playmaker original presented by DraftKings. We have a very special guest here today, Florida Legend. We're a little light right now. We ain't got Mike here because we have some stories to tell about when we play AAU ball in South Dakota. Right. But a Florida legend, a personal childhood friend of mine. So this is a personal show to me. Keyon Dooling in the house, man.
My brother.
My brother. Good to have
what
you,
they
brother.
do, home team.
Man, appreciate you, dog.
Yes,
Thank you for coming through, man.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, man, I'm gonna give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Give you your flowers, man. You know, obviously, you know, we understand the history of everything you go through, but it's not the measure of a man is when they down, it's how they get up.
That's right.
How they get on their feet, how they recover.
That's right.
So I'm giving you your flowers, my brother.
I appreciate it, UD. Look, we go way back to the Florida Flash days.
Yes.
You know, back when you was at Jacksonville Wilson.
Yes.
So, you know, we I know you now.
Yes, sir.
I know you now.
Yes, sir.
We go way back, man. But hey, man, to see what you have not only done, the impact that you had, and what you're doing now in your transition, man, it's motivation, it's inspiration, and I'm just so proud of your home team.
Well, I got to give you some credit because you should introduce me to somebody who's been very instrumental and very important to my success and my growth and just my overall, you know, mental health and well-being, and that's Sylvester.
That's right, Big Sly.
Yeah, that's Big Sly. You introduced me to Sylvester.
That's right.
I remember that when I was a young pup, came into a couple of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You had been in the league a while, and I asked some questions. That's all. One thing I was always able to do. I was able to be vulnerable and ask questions.
You have.
And I asked some questions, and you pointed me in the right direction. So.
Well, look, man, if you want to go quick, you go alone. If we want to go far, we got to all go together. And I think it's a marathon, but it's a relay race marathon. Sometimes you got to pass the baton forward. Sometimes, you know what I mean, you got to reach back.
Yes, sir.
And be able to receive, you know what I mean, help, information, connections, guidance, love, respect, accountability, all those different things. So, man, that goes without being said, bro. Yeah. It's all love. I love you to the core. You're my brother forever. Whether we talk every day or every other, however often we speak, you know what I mean? That love doesn't change because we just go back like flats on the caddy.
Yes, sir. That's real. So talk about it. I grew up, obviously, in Miami, and you grew up in Fort Lauderdale, but growing up in South Florida as a whole, they don't think that we play basketball down here.
Yeah.
We don't get enough credit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, for playing basketball in South Florida. So growing up in South Florida, you talked about the Florida Flash.
Yeah.
We talked about the players we had on that team, myself, Tracy McGrady, you, Clarence Gilbert,
Brent Wright, Teddy Dupay. We had a Myron Anthony. Basketball. I think 12 out of the 13 players went D1, and the one kid who didn't get a scholarship played at DePaul.
Okay.
Brian, I forget Brian's last name, but you know, Alva Smith and Adidas, Sonny Vaccaro, man, they really did a good job of, you know, giving us an opportunity. Big Sharon Dorsey, Big Red.
Big Red.
So we had a squad.
Big Red played in the NFL for a while.
He did. Big Red
Jacksonville Bulls.
That's
Big
right.
Red was a real funny ass dude.
You know, but we always had hoopers down here.
Yeah.
We really did, man. Like, you know, just kind of being from South Florida, you remember the Okia Suaves. You remember the Edwards brothers, you know, at Miami High. You remember, you know, these guys who put in a
6'9", shout out 6'9".
Yeah, Lord rest his soul.
Major Parkers.
Major Parkers.
Yes,
it was a lot of guys. Major was on that Florida Flash team.
Yes, sir. Major was on that team. Yes, he was.
We've always had athleticism. We always had dog. We've always had this mentality. We just didn't get the opportunities. And so, like, it started to shift a little bit in the late 90s, and we stand on the shoulders of all those who came before us, the Eddie Joneses and the Mitch Richmonds and the Otis Thorpes and, you know, Derek Harpers and people like
Vernon
that.
Maxwell.
Vernon Maxwell.
He's still with today.
He's still with it today and look good, too. Look like he's still going to run a marathon. But, man, I'm thankful, man, that I was able to represent the crib. You know, we see a lot of cats coming up from South Florida now, making it to the league, being extremely professional. So I'm thankful for this Florida experience.
Yeah. Do you remember that night that all us we was out playing we was playing 1-on-1 that night? We was up all playing 1-on-1 talking.
Yes, I do.
And just pushing it and everybody.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I remember that, man. So after that, Missouri.
Yes, sir.
What was the thought process in that?
Well, Missouri, it was a couple different things. It was NIL before NIL, you know, which was, you know, very important for
NIL before NIL.
NIL before
Cha-ching.
NIL, you know.
Yeah.
But it was also an opportunity to play with my high school teammate, my middle school teammate. We were a great backcourt, even though we couldn't beat Miami High. We couldn't do nothing with y'all. We tried our best. We just couldn't do nothing with y'all. But it was a great opportunity to go and express our talent, get away from the South, see snow for the first time.
Yes.
You know, learn under Norm Stewart, who was an incredible coach. My second year, I got Quinn Snyder, but. The University of Missouri, man, I enjoyed my time there. We put in work there, and I love to see the work that Coach Dennis Gates is doing over there.
So what was your options? Because going away from Florida to Missouri, how was that?
It was tough.
That's not easy.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, you know, look, Billy D didn't want me, you know.
Cut it out.
Ted Dupay,
I don't believe that.
Teddy Dupay, you know, was like Mr. Everything down here. Ted used to, you know, Ted put up incredible numbers. I think he still may be the all-time leading scorer in the state of Florida.
Yeah, he broke Chris Cochiani record.
And he was McDonald's All-American, all those different things. So Ted, once they went with Ted, they, you know, Billy had the thoughtfulness to just call me and say, hey, we're going a different direction. So Florida wasn't an option. Florida State could have possibly been an option, but I had opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, to go to several different schools, but Missouri was the only school that recruited me and my high school teammate. And like I said, it was just, you know,
I don't think Florida could afford you.
I don't think so either. Not at that time.
I'm just being honest with you, because I ain't got shit.
Hey,
they ain't gave me nothing.
Well, you still got, you know, you got bragging rights. You
No, listen,
y'all
I had the best
together.
4 years of my life there. I ain't got, but they ain't gave me shit. So when they be sending out them little donation papers, I donate nothing back.
Man, you got Pell Grant.
You gave me nothing, I gave you nothing.
You got Pell Grant,
No.
dog.
You gave me nothing, I give you nothing. You asked me, they send a little note, yeah, we want to donate this, that, and the third. Yeah, okay. Thank you. I gave you 4 years.
That's right.
4 times you was in the tournament.
That's right.
The exposure, the money you made.
That's right.
I gave you everything you gave me.
You put in work.
Yeah, I ain't giving you shit back now. I ain't even looking to write it off. I don't give a fuck if I can write it off. I'm gonna keep it. I ain't giving it to you.
I ain't mad at you.
I ain't doing
You know
that.
I ain't mad at you.
So 10th pick from the
Yes.
Clippers. I remember watching that. You know what I'm saying? And I remember being, you know what I'm saying, excited and obviously, you know, motivated. But how was draft day for you and your family, man? Because I know I watched you put the work in. You was the first person that told me about running on the beach. I thought you was crazy. I was like, who gonna be running on the beach? Because I remember the summer where you came back bouncy as hell, windmilling and, you know, going off the 2 feet with the rock in the cradle and just all kind of with the one leg, and you was talking about running on the beach.
Yeah.
So you was developing that work ethic early on.
Early in the game, I would do 2 things I think that separated me. One was running on the beach with your shoes on.
Hear that, kids?
Running on the beach.
Running on the beach with your shoes on.
Yeah, and you know, you would think that it was so far. Like I grew up 4 miles from the beach, but it was such a journey to get there that you thought it was miles away.
Yes.
You know, but what we used to do is we would ride our bikes out to the beach, or either once we start driving, we would get out to the beach, do defensive slides, run on the beach, and then one of the other things that I did, it's a little trick to the trade, but I would run in the pool with my shoes on. Run in the pool with the shoes on, high knees, leg kicks, trying to jump out the water, you know what I mean, with your shoes on. It would have that little weight. And one night I went to sleep, I was slapping backboard, and the next day I woke up, I was putting my whole arm in the rim. So it wasn't that moment, it wasn't that night, it's the compilation of putting that work in, putting that grind in, being intentional with like trying to get more explosive, trying to, elevate. And then I think it was a visual element. You know, I used to go to sleep on, the Michael Jordan tapes, you know what I mean, the NBA tapes and things like that. And so, when you would see, Michael Jordan, or when you would see those guys, kind of play, then you go to the park that next day and you try it out. So, yeah, it was a compilation. It's just Florida at all times.
Yeah. I mean, I tell my son all the time, man, the key to anything that you want to do is just the consistency of it. Just being consistent.
Yeah.
Don't trust me, trust the work.
Yeah.
I can tell you anything.
That's right.
Yeah, you could tell him anything, but trust the work that you put in.
Yeah.
The consistent work you put in, and you'll start to see the results.
You know what you did? And to your point with that, man, I think a lot of times our kids dismiss who we are.
Man, goddamn, boy, my son won't listen to me for shit.
You know,
listen,
they dismiss.
He'll listen to a stranger at the liquor store before he listen to me.
They
I
just,
can go get that.
We just pops to them, you know, and it's a catch-22 because like being present in your children's lives, in their lives, sometimes like, you know, they don't know what it's like to not have that influence, that protection, that leadership, that guidance. And because they hear our voice so much, you know what I mean, they could shut us down sometimes. So I think it takes a village. That's why you got to have the right people around them to echo the message.
Yes.
Because I don't want them to get the lesson. The message just from me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I want them to get the lesson in it without having to experience failure, experience hardships. I want them to get it along the way. So just be patient with them boys, man. You got some good boys.
Yeah, I got some good boys, but I mean, I'm happy you touched on this because we talk about just being pops, you know, to them. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to be there, you know, with you and for you through one of your toughest times when you lost your father.
Yes, sir.
And then, you know, fast track years later, and I lose my father. You know what I'm saying? You know, we talk about our kids and we talk about those moments, and you think that you'll have an eternity with them. And you think, I would never thought that I would be sitting here right now with my father, my stepmother, and my mother all deceased. Yeah. So you think that you'll have an eternity with them. But just talk about the influence and the impact that your father had on you. Because, you know, besides basketball, we talking about work ethic, getting up every day, owned his own flower shop. But like those skills, that mindset, those habits are the reason why you can succeed in basketball, because you take that mindset, you take those habits and you apply that somewhere else. But talk about Pops and how he instilled that in you. I mean, because even though it wasn't all the time that you might have wanted, it was enough time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To mold you into the man that you are.
For sure. Look, I would have taken, you know, 30 years with my pops than 100 years with a deadbeat dad.
Yes.
You know, he was present, he was active, he was fun, he was loving, he was caring. He handled adversity. I think, you know, seeing him go through adversity, especially in the early 90s, really helped me through this phase of life, of my phase of adversity.
Yes.
And the way that he was able to carry it, number one, still show up, number two, and then third, bounce back. So having that Pops in your life, I really feel like it gives you an advantage on manhood.
Yes.
You know, because you don't have to learn certain things on the fly. You get to learn from their experience and their mistakes.
Yes.
So I'm thankful I had my dad as long as I had him. I miss him a whole bunch.
Yes.
I think the thing that I miss most about like his consistency of checking up on me, he knew my schedule. He knew how to find me. He always encouraged me. But I think what I miss probably the most is his sense of humor. He was a talker extraordinaire. He could talk to anyone at any time.
Yes.
And I really miss my father. I miss your father, man. And I'm so thankful, you know, we got to share that little time and space together because the pride that you would see on their face when we would walk out after the games. Man. You know, I could go back to like high school when they would talk to each other.
Yes.
You know, and things like that. So like to have that experience and then have it on an NBA level, man, kudos to our fathers, man. They really showed up and showed out.
I mean, for me, bro, and I think about, you know, just the person I am today and the things that I'm doing and the things that I'm, you know, accomplishing. It's because they prepared me, bro.
Yeah, they did.
Like when my father passed away, I wasn't confused. I was in pain. Yeah. I was hurt, but I wasn't confused about what to do next.
Right.
You know, so many times, oftentimes, you have adults that lose their parents and they don't know what to do next. Yeah. They're lost, they're confused. I understood the mission completely.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they raised me that kind of man.
That's right.
So regardless of whether I was in pain, I knew to get my ass up and I knew to keep pushing forward and I knew what I had to do.
That's right.
And then I had to lead my family. I got to take care of my brothers. I got to take care of my sisters. I got to make sure everybody good over here. I got to make sure that mom's house still good. I got to make sure we still get together on Thanksgiving. Yeah. I know what the mission is. Yeah. They prepared me for that. It was no confusion at all. Yeah. So now I see what those years was about, what they were building, what they were preparing me for. Yeah. Whether they was gonna be here or not, they knew that I was gonna be ready to be the man that they needed me to be.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So when I was scoring 25 and my daddy said, "You ain't got the killer instinct, you should score 35." Those kind of habits of never settling.
Never settling. I remember when I was putting my arm in the rim, my daddy said, "Yeah, Bubba, you dunking that bitch, but I don't want you dunking it like this. I want you dunking that bitch like this. I'm like, damn, I can't never satisfy him on the court. Can't never satisfy him on the court. But man, I really miss that now.
No, man.
I really miss that. And I think one of the lessons that we can learn from them that maybe they didn't teach us is as black men, as successful black men, who have a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
To do a little bit more self-care.
Yes.
Right? Because like we check out a lot earlier than every other demographic on the planet. And so like, you know, what can we do to have longevity?
Yes.
It's good to have success, but you want to have long success.
Yes.
So are we getting our checkups? Are we getting our prostate checked? Are we eating the right way? Are we exercising? Yes. Are we dieting? Are we getting the right sleep? Are we stress managing? All those holistic things that you learn along the way that maybe they didn't have the information. Have you healed from trauma?
Man.
And things like that, right? And so on top of the lessons that they taught us, what can we build off of to leave a better legacy and equip our kids for the next phase of life? And
I think that's an important message that you brought there. One thing that you brought up earlier is talking about being 4 miles from the beach, but it seems so far away.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I've never been to South Beach till I got in the NBA.
Yeah.
People think we grow up on South Beach.
No, that's not Dade County.
Hey, we don't go over there, man.
Yeah, that's not Dade County.
There. We do not go over there at all.
Yeah, like, that's not Dade County.
Yeah, that is not Miami at all, bro.
Yeah,
we don't go over there.
And it's so different, man. Like just kind of growing up in the '80s, you know what I mean? Like I always remember me and you when we get into it, we talking back and forth. Man, Kyle from Broward. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a term back in the days.
Cows from Broward get sprayed in days.
You know what I'm saying? So then we like, but the thing about it is, man, like you grow up in this culture of South Florida sports.
Yes.
And basketball and football give you an opportunity to compete with some of the best young athletes.
Man.
And then you get exposed to the streets because, like, you know, it was the '80s, so it was wide open down here. So you saw the car culture, the donks. You saw, you know what I mean, the club culture and all those different things.
We grew up in the club culture.
You know, and we jumped off the porch real early.
Yes, we did.
So, you know, in doing that, you get exposed to a lot. So you probably saw some things that you shouldn't have seen, experienced some things that you shouldn't have experienced, and you kind of carry that. Right? You kind of carry that into the next phase of your life. And if you're not careful, at some point, it'll catch up with you.
Yes, sir. This is true. So now you drafted. Number 10.
That's right.
You feel like you made it?
Somewhat. I didn't get invited to the draft.
No?
I didn't get the experience, you know, shaking David Stern's hand. No, I didn't.
You didn't get invited.
I didn't.
You sound like you're still salty about that,
I feel
KD.
some
I know
type
you're
of-
not. I know you're not. I know you're not. You sound like you're still salty about that.
Yeah, man, you want the full experience. You know, I didn't get to go to the combine. I didn't get to go, you know, to the draft and things like that, even though I was considered a lottery pick and one of the top draft prospects. It just didn't work out for me that way.
So you didn't get invited? Because I don't know how that shit. I ain't get drafted, so I don't know. So you didn't get invited?
I didn't get invited to the draft.
What about the draft combines?
The combine, it was like, okay, you have to play in it. And if you're a lottery pick, you know,
just did specific workouts for specific teams.
Yeah, I'm just go work out for teams. I'm one of the top 15 prospects, so I wasn't gonna go and play against a second rounder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, or a potential undrafted
does you
guy.
no good. Does you no good.
It did me nothing for my potential and my upside. So because I didn't do that, I didn't go to test.
Okay.
So I didn't get that experience, but I got to share that moment with my family.
Yeah.
And so that was a beautiful thing about it. But yeah, I mean, you want to always get a chance to, you know, shake the.
Boy, you had a lot of deal lit. I know you did.
Yeah, we turned up.
I know you did. Talk about it. Talk about it. Goddamn, boy. Talk about it.
We turned up that night. You know, we had a good time, but more so for me, you know, at that phase of life, man, it was really just trying to get us out of poverty.
Yeah.
You know, it had got rough. My dad had a stroke my freshman year and things like that, and I was looked at as the breadwinner in the family.
Yes, sir.
And it's a lot of responsibility when you're 17 years old, man, and you're responsible, you know, financially for your family.
Yes.
Inspirationally for your family.
Yes, sir.
And not to minimize, you know, everybody else in the family, because everybody held it down as best as they could.
We understand.
But it was a unique situation. I had a unique talent. But yeah, we had a good time. I flew out to Cali, got up with D-Miles and Q, you know, a day or two after the draft. And yeah, man, we turned up, you know, probably a little bit too much.
I was going to say, talk about that. Earl Boykins, Corey Maggette, D-Miles, Lamar, Q Rich. Like, y'all were loaded, man. Talk about that. Headbands, all that. Like, it was a vibe, man.
Yeah, it was a vibe, man. The Clippers, man, it was a lot of fun. Being in L.A., it's a beautiful place. got a lot to offer.
Man.
Great weather.
Yes.
And we were all doing things for the first time together.
Yes.
So we did a lot of cooking out, a lot of barbecuing, a lot of playing the video game, a lot of hanging out. We vibed, right? But the infrastructure was not there for us to develop as players. You couldn't
You got Chicago, you got East St. Louis, you got New York,
I
you
know.
got Fort Lauderdale, you got everybody.
And we brought all them elements to LA, bro. We kicked it, man. We had a good time out there. We really did. And all of us went on to have long careers. That's the thing about it. It's not just about assembling talent. Sometimes you got to have the right pieces.
Yes.
And it was just too many young players, so it was still a lot of internal competition. But, man, you talking about, like, some talented guys. I had a lot of fun.
I mean, that's the right mindset. I mean, internal competition is how it's supposed to be. Iron is supposed to sharpen iron.
Yes.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day, iron is supposed to sharpen iron. Like, as much as, we talk to each other, once we went out of town, nobody else could say shit to you. No. And could nobody say shit to me. Like, when we play, we can talk to each other all day.
Yeah.
We gonna go at each other all day.
For sure.
But when we go out of town, ain't nobody finna with you, ain't nobody finna with me. But we believe in that iron sharpen iron shit.
Yeah.
Like, we believe in that iron sharpen iron.
One thing about you, UD, you always just really been the muscle. You've been the Luga Brasi of this for years, man. Like the loyalty and the love and the compassion and the oversight that you had. You took it personal, like being from down here, right? To represent it. So you wanted all our guys to feel safe, comfortable, protected, and you stood on that. A lot of things we can't even talk about because like you did a lot of things behind the scenes that allowed a lot of guys, passes down here to be able to, breathe.
I mean, I connected with the right people, and that's why I won't leave today. And people always talk about, the opportunities that I had to leave, man. The love that I get from this city, you can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't need no security. You know what I'm saying? I'm connected to the people. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm retired, I'm gonna give them back everything they gave to me.
That's right.
The affordable housing, the medical marijuana. Stop going to jail for weed, my brothers.
That's right.
Like we ain't got time for that.
Get your license.
No more. It's legal now. Go get your card, get your paperwork, understand the law. You know what I'm saying? All that shit right now. I'm gonna make sure we got all that.
Yeah.
We ain't gotta worry about jobs. Stop hustling. We're gonna get jobs out here. We're gonna give you opportunities now. You just gotta make choices, make the right choices.
That's right.
But I'm gonna get this city back everything they gave to me.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Everything
Kudos
they
to
gave
you for
me.
that.
Who's scoring big in the NBA this season? You are. With all the new ways, get in on the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. DraftKings is the home of NBA player props, so you can get behind your favorite players any which way, from monster slams to dishing the rock to cleaning the glass. And here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use codes OGs. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings. Same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not available in your state, don't worry about it. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code OGs and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code OGs, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
The NBA season is heating up, and there's nothing better than being at the arena live. You can sit at the crib and watch a game, or you can get to the game, see your favorite players play live. That's why you have to go to the Game Time app. Go to Game Time now and get your best seats to see your best players play. You will not get better deals anywhere than on the Game Time app. And with Game Time's all-in pricing, the price you see is the price you get. There are no hidden fees or surprise fees at checkout. What could be better? The Game Time app gives you the lowest price guarantee. That means if you find a lower price anywhere, Game Time will guarantee you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code OGs for $20 off the first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code OGs for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Spring cleaning isn't just for finally tossing that fedora you swore would make a comeback. It's for hitting reset on your grooming routine. Manscaped's Beard and Balls bundle has you covered from cheeks to cheeks, clearing out the overgrowth winter left behind. It's time to weed whack, hedge trim, and make sure the lawn is looking manicured for the season. Because nothing says fresh start like a sharp beard and, more importantly, a properly landscaped lawn. Join over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and use code OGs for 20% off, plus free shipping at manscaped.com. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra's dual blade system with interchangeable foil and trimmer blades keeps things fresh and smooth, even in the most sensitive spots. Skin-safe technology designed to minimize nicks and irritations. These tools are gentle where it matters most. Keep your skin smooth, comfortable, and ready for the season. Don't cut corners on your grooming routine. Upgrade to the Beard and Balls bundle from Manscaped. Visit manscaped.com and use code OGs to get 20% off plus free shipping. Or if you need it today, you can find Manscaped at a store near you. Stay fresh this season. For everyone's sake, level up your grooming game today. And UD, man, we got our NFL Super Bowl futures presented by DraftKings. UD, I know it's early.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
never
real
too early for football season.
I mean, real early.
Never too early to talk football.
With free agency around the corner and the draft around the corner. If you get your bets in now, you're taking huge.
Dolphins.
Okay.
I ain't even got to ask you the question. I don't know what the question is. What is the questions again?
No, Dolphins.
What is the question?
Who wins the Super Bowl?
Dolphins. Dolphins, Jack.
Who's the best offense in the league next
Dolphins.
year? Who's the best defense in the league next year?
Dolphins.
Who's the best coach in the league?
Dolphins.
He got the Dolphins plus 6,500. I tell you what. Smart money says no way.
So just make this thing clear to me here, so I can understand.
For every $100, you win 6,500.
Yeah, I understand that. So
right now,
all these teams up here, they feel got better odds than us.
Yes, you're basically dead last, coach.
Hold on, let me just clean this up real quick. I got to understand. What the did they see?
Yeah.
To make them think that the Chargers got a better chance than us? What the did they see to make them think?
Well, started off, they went to the playoffs.
Did anybody ever think the Chargers was really going to win?
I'm just telling you what they thought.
What are you talking about?
Getting a little,
how the hell we got the same odds as the Cowboys?
I'm just telling you. I just tell you who I'm taking. Can I pick my pick now?
Damn.
I'm going to Minnesota Vikings. Great odds at plus 4,000. I feel really, really good about myself.
Man, who be making this shit?
So, well, that's Vegas, DraftKings. So go to DraftKings, put your bets in. That's our Super Bowl future bets. Dolphins, Vikings.
Dolphins, the level of disrespect out here is crazy. I hope y'all reading and seeing it.
Go to DraftKings now and put your bets in.
Kudos to you.
Now, the Miami Heat get a chance to come home.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? That right there is a gift and a curse.
Yes.
It's a little bit different than being in L.A.
Yeah, it is.
5-hour flight away.
Yes, sir.
Now they can just pull up to your door and ask for whatever they can pull up to your door and ask you for what they need. Talk about the pressure of that. Because I've dealt with that, and I'm telling you, man, I had to tell people. Listen, my stepmama, she was the best in the world at saying no. Barbara Wood?
Yeah.
Call Barbara. Barbara tell you go to hell, leave him alone. He ain't giving you shit.
Yeah.
I had to get my stepmama on the job because it was hard for me to say no.
Yeah, moms didn't play no games, but with love. Right?
Yes.
With love. But yeah, it was a lot of pressure. You know, everybody thinks you get the tickets for free, even though we had to pay to get in high school games or, you know, all those different things. But the ticket element, the accessibility that you have where people can just kind of, you know, impart and pull up on you, pop up on you and things like that. It was tough, but like what we had with the Heat, man, is something that served me, you know, my entire career.
Man.
You know, like the work ethic that they indoctrinate you with, the infrastructure, you know what I mean? Just the customs and the rituals and the routines that you learn in Miami. If you can play in Miami, you can play anywhere.
Yes.
At the end of the day, like you will push your body to the maximum and learn how to like be comfortable at that space. And that's a testament to, you know, just the Heat culture.
I mean, you said something earlier about Spo, and you talked about, you know, Spo, Quinn, you even Stu standing there, of how they slow the game down for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not about going 1,000 miles an hour, but it's about seeing it slow in your mind and visualizing it slow, but actually moving fast.
Yeah.
But just talk about how they helped you with that, because you would think that, a lot of these coaches, when people get to the league, that the player development part, they throw out the window.
Right.
They just want to drop the X's and O's, get it done.
Right.
But talk about the player development part that you continue to develop, even though you got the NBA.
Yeah.
And with these coaches and through this process, because a lot of people see the Eric Spoelstra now, but they don't know the pedigree of Spo and where he came from and that he was putting in before he got to this point.
Yeah, no, man, listen, the way that Spo would break the game down, he would break it down in different phases. So if it was pick and rolls, he would tell you what you should be looking for, where to attack, where you should be going fast. And then he would show it to you in film, right? And then he would do drills and train you to be able to make the reads.
Yes.
And so it wasn't just like a one part of it. It was like a holistic experience. And then you had Coach Keith Askew and Keith Askin and Bimbo Cole
Boy, Bimbo
talking nothing but dog to you. Pick up full court. Like first thing Keith said to me, man, I heard you softer than shit.
Damn, K.A.
Like, damn, coach, like what? He's like, I'm just telling you, it's what I heard. But we gotta see. So like they just like would push you like to pick up full court every time, to push the ball every time. They wouldn't let you make mistakes.
Yeah.
They would let you make mistakes, but they would coach you through those mistakes. They would try to
nobody just gonna turn a blind eye and act like that ain't happening.
Yep.
We're gonna hold you accountable.
And then Bill will get you in the weight room or on the track at the University of Miami and test, your will to see if like you in the right field. Are you really built for this? He come out smiling.
Man, got his whistle. I would take that damn whistle and choke his ass.
Like Bill, but man, when you get out there and you come from a culture like the Clippers and then you go to the Heat, it's like, whoa, what have we been doing? Yeah. So to see Rasul, Lord rest his soul, on the track.
Rest his soul.
Man, see you out on the track. See D Wade out on the track. See little young Thundercat, the real right. And then OG Eddie Jones out there on the track in the summertime at 7 a.m. with the humidity and the heat and the temperature. It's like, whoa, okay. But, man, it meant so much. And, man, I just, that time in Miami, I know it was short for me. It was one season. But I literally took those principles everywhere I went. And I brought a different level of professionalism, work ethic, grit, grind, and accountability because of my time with the Heat.
I mean, we talk about Eddie, man, and I don't think people understand the impact that Eddie had on us in South Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being able to watch somebody make it.
Yeah.
And then being able to have the opportunity to share the locker room.
Yeah.
and continue to be close to Eddie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, you know Eddie a little bit better than me and before, obviously. So just talk about Eddie, man, because I don't think people get Eddie his flowers. I don't think Eddie get his flowers like he should.
Eddie doesn't, man.
Like, I don't think Eddie Jones get his flowers, man.
It's not like probably outside of my pops, man. It's really not too many men who had an impact on me like Eddie Jones.
That's what's up.
Like he showed me how to tie my tie. He showed me how to order my steak. He showed me how to deal with the media. He showed me how to deal when you're at a team event. He showed you how to navigate that. He showed me how to travel with my family. He showed me how we can go out to fights and go see Floyd Mayweather and have a good time and get the whole experience. He showed me how to put meat on the grill as far as cooking for your family and being present with your family. So Eddie Jones to me is one of my GOATs. He's one of my favorite people of all time. I love him. I respect him. I appreciate him. And man, he put on for us. I used to go see Eddie play when he was in high school at Ely High School.
Man,
I got to see, we called him Iceman because he would take off from the free throw line. He'll butter roll or he'll turn it over and dunk it. He would shoot threes. But Eddie really trailblazed, man, and he set a good tone for us. And, I remember like getting close to Eddie was like, all right, young fella, show up to the gym at like 8 o'clock. Like, big homie, we don't practice till noon. He's like, yeah, I see you at 8.
Yeah.
So because I showed up, he showed me all those other things. Yeah. That had I not shown up, I probably still wouldn't know how to tie my tie or still be ordering a well-done steak or, all those little things. So Eddie was a man of respect, is a man of respect, and he's definitely undervalued and underappreciated for what he's done to the game.
And he no nonsense either.
Listen,
he gonna tell you but one time.
He'll
cut you off quick. He'll cut you off quick.
EJ got time, bro. He got time. He's you know, if you don't know him, he could possibly be like the ultimate asshole to you.
Man, listen, let me tell you, we got bonus checks one year. We got bonus checks. It was about 20,000, and I took care of EJ. I got his coffee all year. I did everything EJ said. So when we got the bonus check, EJ signed the bonus check over to me. So that year we had 2 rookies. We had me, who was undrafted, and we drafted another young kid in the second round. Jerome Beasley. Jerome Beasley. We drafted Jerome Beasley. Shout out Beasley. That was my dog. We both had the Braves. We was kicking it. So we walk in the locker room. Eddie done signed this check over to me. Beasley say, damn, Eddie, you signed your check over to him. You ain't going to give me nothing. Eddie looked at Beasley and said, man, you know I don't fuck with you like that.
Very transparent.
Eddie looked at Beasley dead as I said, man, you know I don't fuck with you like that.
But he ain't care who you was. Like, he was an equal opportunist talker, you know, and standing on business. Like, he was going to stand on business at all times, at all costs. So, big shout out to Eddie Jones.
Shout out Eddie,
man. Big
shout
homie.
out Eddie.
We love you, bro. We love you, OG.
How was it with Pat, man? Did you have any experiences with Pat? Because I tell you, my first 2 years, and people know this, I didn't speak to Pat. My first 2 years, I ain't never been afraid of no man, intimidated by no man, but I ain't even know how to deal with Pat my first 2 years.
Yeah, Pat's
that
got
Godfather shit was real.
He
carry himself. He got that aura.
He does.
That's different. We've been around a bunch of street. We ain't never really been around no mobsters. Like that shit really carried.
Yeah, Pat was
that
tough.
Carried weight.
It does, man. Pat was tough, man. Pat was all that in the bag of chips. 2 things. I got called up to the office when I wasn't playing. Pat, you know, kind of, you know, put down on me a little bit. Yeah. But he also he built me up as well. He gave me a book, John Maxwell, a book on leaderships. And so, like, you know, it wasn't that he was just, you know, coming down with an iron fist. It was that he was going to give me the tools to be able to be successful as well. So I always appreciate that. And then he sat us all down, and you remember when he was like, Shaq, I'm no chicken shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, is he the Joker?
I was like, what the is going on right now?
I'm no chicken. Like, man, but Pat stand on business at all times, man, and he's so cerebral. He's so smart. He can just pick up and sense things.
Yes.
And so, yeah, man, just being around Pat, you know, some people you learn from directly, some people you learn from just by observing them. Pat's one of those guys.
And Shaq, man.
Shaq,
we got 1,000 Shaq stories.
Big fella.
Big fella.
I told a story when Shaq called me the thousandaire.
Oh,
and you were like, hey, man, big fella, man.
He was out of, we ain't made no money like that. I ain't like that. I was like, goddamn, big dog. I remember that. Why did he call you a thousandaire? I remember that. He was like, are you thousandaires?
Man, you know what Shaq came
what that
on?
was about?
Man, you know, Shaq used to have on some sometimes. So he had on a big ass outfit, some Donald Pleiners and shit like that. So I'm looking, you know, because you know how I used to be, UD. I'm looking.
You wasn't
at him
finna
like,
let that ride. I know you.
Damn, big fella, you coming in there? Did he look in the mirror for him?
That dress in the dark.
So, you know, I had something to say, and Shaq just didn't want to hear that shit. I can't take this shit no more. I'm sick of this shit. Shut the fuck up, you thousandaire. You know, I was like, you know what, big fella, you got it. Hey. I ain't tricked. Like, you know what, you got that, big fella. It's all good.
Hey,
you got that.
KD, it took a little while for me to understand what he was calling us.
Yeah.
Then I say, okay, we don't make millions yet. We in the thousands.
I was on the minimum that year.
Yeah, I ain't like that. Hey, big fella, I don't like that. Hey. We ain't made no money yet. Don't do us like that.
Yeah, but you know what? You know, that's one part of the story. Like, I don't want it to be like it was negative with Shaq.
Yeah.
Because, like, every day was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Playing with him, you know what I'm saying? You got more exposure. Shaq was mean and tough, and he wanted to win.
Yes.
And so I just remember, like, you know, having team dinners before the playoffs.
Yes.
Shaq bringing out his rings and letting all us, you know, see his rings.
Yes.
Jamie Foxx came in and all these different things. You know, Shaq would throw a party in every city. You know, Shaq would take his glasses off sometimes and take these Versace's.
Yes.
Like he you know, he would invite us over to his crib and things like that, man. So Shaq, man, playing with him made life better.
Yes.
It made life bigger. And, you know, like sometimes, you know, we going to go back and forth and, you know, sometimes you know, you're going to have to get your pride wounded.
Yeah. Oh, for
and
sure.
he got me that day. He was like, all right, I got
Hey, listen, though, people don't understand as great of a player as he was, and we always talk about his greatness as a basketball player. I don't know if we talk about Shaq's leadership as much.
Oh, yeah.
And I think people don't really give him credit for being a leader because they think that he didn't work hard or whatever. He was so naturally gifted. Mm-hmm. But Shaq, the confidence that Shaq would infuse in his teammates and in his locker room, you know what I'm saying? A young undrafted kid like myself.
Knock his eyeballs out.
Shoot it. If you pass up a shot, he on your ass like Huggies.
Man.
Shoot it.
Yeah.
Every time. D-Wade, he gave D-Wade the name Flash.
Yep.
The confidence to step into that role to be Flash. I saw D-Wade talk about that the other day.
Yep.
Like he told me, he called me Flash. So every time I stepped on the court, I had to play that role. I had to go into character to be in Flash.
Shaq
So people don't understand what Shaq, if the big fella give you the pass and say, I believe in you, they don't know how that far that take you.
It meant a lot, man. And Shaq loved his teammates.
Yes.
He cared for us. He was concerned about us. You know, he knew about us. Like he wasn't an elitist.
Yes.
As far as the way that he interact with his teammates. Like we went to his house. He gonna show you that shit. He gonna inspire you. You know, he'll come through. He'll pull up on you. So, you know, big shout out to big fella, man. Big fella, our lives are better because you were in it.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You had the opportunity to play with another big fella, man. You go to the Magic. You play with
Young
Dwight,
Thunder.
young Dwight.
Yeah,
You'll talk about that because that was intimidating.
Yeah, boy.
That was intimidating early.
Boy, and
when you see that, boy, you know you got, you got to be ready. He dunk it, 25 rebounds. He gonna break the goddamn rim, like you know what I'm saying.
Dwight wanted it, man. He was man. Dwight was so talented and so athletic. I don't think people know how like fast and athletic and how much agility that Dwight had.
Yes.
I don't think people understood the kind of skill set that he had and the mobility that he really had. But he was young. He was definitely young, talented. He was hungry. He wanted it. Very, very, very funny. Big personality. You know what I mean? Like super charismatic. You know what I mean? And full of foolishness all at the same time. So Dwight was a lot of fun to play with, and him and Jameer would just. Oh man, they were so much fun, man. My days in Orlando, I enjoyed all my NBA experiences. But man, that time in Orlando was pretty special.
Really?
Man, it was some really good people there. And then we got Stan Van to come over, and he like, you know, tape shoot arounds, knee pads, all that. But like we developed under him. And so that was one of the places that when I didn't re-sign there, man, it really did hurt me. You know what I mean? Because I just couldn't understand, like, damn, like I want to be here. You know? So, but it's a part of the game. It's a part of the business. But yeah, big shout out to Dwight, man, because Thunder is doing his thing, and always has done his thing.
And you had the chance to play with Shaq and Dwight.
Shaq, Dwight.
You think they're gonna? You think
Big
they're gonna?
Zo.
You think they're gonna? And Big Zo. Think that Shaq and Dwight gonna clean it up, man? They gonna be all right.
I don't know. I mean, I think they should be at some point. I don't think they need to run the fade. I don't think they need. I just think they're similar. So sometimes when you have similar energy, you know what I mean? It's not.
They're both big personalities.
It's not that yin and that
dominant. Don't both dominant guys. They both big personalities.
Yeah, but I think you know it's a sense too though that like, you know, Shaq is the OG.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like you have to humble yourselves if you want to get certain access and certain respect from the people who paved the way.
Yeah.
The way that he paid homage to, you know, Wilt Chamberlain and people like that. He paid homage to those guys, you know. So I just think that like maybe Dwight got to try a new tactic with Shaq. Yeah. And, you know, just come off a little bit more humble because I still think there's an opportunity, you know, for them to, you know, like we're losing the American big man.
Yeah.
They're like the last of the dying breed. Yeah. So imagine, you know, them getting together and working with, you know, American centers and things like that. I just think it's an opportunity for them to reconcile and figure that out.
I'm happy you brought that up because I was on First Take the other day and this conversation came up. Do you think a European player could ever be the face of the NBA?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. I think it's a new NBA. I mean, I had a couple people disagree with me that day, but I think it's a completely different NBA than what we saw growing up. It's a completely different league now. I don't see why, you know, a Luka can't be the face of the NBA. I don't see why SGA can't be the face of the NBA. I mean, even though, you know, Canada is not Europe, it doesn't have to be I don't feel like it has to be an American-born play anymore.
I don't.
I mean, we're at the point where the sixth man is getting $100 million.
Yeah.
You know, we never thought that we see that. We thought that the sixth man was always going to make six-man money.
Yeah.
And you can come off the bench and make $100 million right now.
And why? Because our game has grown globally.
Yes.
Like this game is not unique to just us anymore.
No, it ain't.
Right? It's a global game.
Yes.
It's really our superpower, right? The NFL dominates here in the United States. But like, as far as our appeal and kind of what separates us is bringing all these different countries together, you know, for this one common goal. So I don't think it's a problem with a guy, you know, if they have enough charisma and they have enough character and they got the game that matches it, you know, I think they should. I think Luka being in LA, I think at some point he will.
Well, that's who I picked. That's why I picked Luka. You know, obviously, you know, one of the most historical franchises in the game of basketball.
Right.
They still selling out. The jerseys, the Laker jersey still makes a statement no matter where it is.
That's right.
And now you talk about a 25-year-old superstar.
Yeah,
who,
Luka Cole.
Has the
Cole.
what?
Cole.
Cole is what?
Cole.
How you feel about the trade?
I like it. I like it for the game, to get your superstars in the big markets. I know smaller markets probably don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
But to get your superstars in big markets really help.
Yes.
I think the biggest thing that Luka will benefit from is being around LeBron and his professionalism and his, dedication to the game and how he handles the media and how he carries himself. Because that's an area where he can grow.
Yes.
That's really where all his criticism comes, basically, in his habits and his defense.
Yes.
And I think those are fair, observations.
Yes.
He got to get in better shape. If you're
Yes.
going to play 30 minutes a night, 35 minutes a night and have to, score, rebound, pass, and if you want to win championships, you're going to have some resistance on the defensive end.
Yes.
So I think like being able to see LeBron in that space, being in LA, is definitely going to heighten the experience for Luka in the NBA.
I mean, right now they moved up to number 2 in the West. You know what I'm saying? I still think that even though they won the other night against Denver, I still think in a 7-game series they'll struggle just because they have nothing for Joker. There's no answer for Joker. But I do think in a 7-game series they can compete against anybody in the West.
I agree.
They can compete against, and they got a chance.
I agree.
It's not one of those games where we picking the other team immediately. You looking at this Laker team, and you looking at the other teams in the West, and you're saying they match up pretty good with everybody. The only team, like I said, I worry about Denver, and I worry about OKC because the size, the Chets, the Hartensteins, the Jokers, that Mark Williams trade that didn't go through for the Lakers, bringing in that big body that can go vertical and give Luka that vertical spacing and also can guard the rim on the other side. I think that's what will hurt him. But I like what they're doing. I was one of those guys that was wondering, could J.J. Redick quiet the noise in the locker room and just get guys to focus on the main thing? To his credit, he's been able to do that. He's been able to get guys to focus on the main thing. He's been able to quiet the noise, and he's been able to get those guys to connect. So I see that. You know what I'm saying? So the question is, will they have enough this year? And I just don't know if they will have enough this year. But I like what the future looks like. I like what Bron is doing. We talking about MVPs. We talking about SGAs. We talking about Joker. And Bron done slid into that MVP conversation with the shit he doing right now.
He's right there. Yeah, I think they're a contender. Anytime you got LeBron on your team, you got an opportunity to win.
Yes.
I don't think we've seen him play with somebody like Luka since maybe Wade.
Yes.
Kyrie obviously was a great, second option as well. But I think this is the most talented player LeBron has played with as far as on the offensive end, being able to, score the ball and get assists. Luka is probably one of the greatest already at being able to do that. But you're right, man. I just think that Joker is a matchup problem for them, and styles make fights, and I don't think that they would beat Denver. Now, what could happen is they can avoid Denver depending on where they place, right?
Yes,
and they might not, they might not have to, run through that, match up with Joker. But yeah, they're a contender. I don't think they'll win it all. I just don't think that they have enough. I don't think their lob threats are really, good enough. I don't think they have enough size. I don't think they have enough depth. But they have 2 superstar players that can really get it going in a major way. So
and they got strength. They got strength on that wing.
They do.
That wing. They got Rudy, and they go, Finley Smith. They got
Vanderbilt.
They got Reeves. And they got DK back. They got strength on that wing.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? Which is a very important position in the league because you want a lot of switchable matchups. They got strength on that wing. But enough about them. We're gonna go back to your story. You got the Nets. You got Boston. You know what I'm saying?
Oh. You good with talking about Boston?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Boston, my boy. Yeah,
okay. Because you act like you ain't know me when I played for the Celtics.
You still remember that?
Man, you
damn, dog.
Hey, Slim, hey, I'm going to say what's up to you tonight because we ain't going to talk during the, while we're in the series. All right, bro, I'll see you this summer, bro. It's all good.
Hey, no, listen, I tell people this all the time, dog, and I said this on the other podcast, man. I wasn't good enough to do both. I wasn't good enough to be your friend and still play hard. Like, I had to separate the two.
Yeah.
Because I needed that edge. I needed that chip on my shoulder. That's when I thrived. You know what I'm saying? So
between the Miami Heat culture and the Miami High, Shaky Rodriguez, Frank Martin culture, They indoctrinated you to, you know what I'm saying, like play with that chip.
I
on your
did the
shoulder.
same thing. We played against Dallas, and I played against Marquise. And
Yeah.
Marquise, we go way back too, and I ain't speak to Marquise in that playoff
All
series.
right, I'll talk to you this summer. All right, you did.
I ain't had that talent. I wasn't drafted, Keyon. I remember like y'all, so I kept a chip on my shoulder, man. That's how I got through the league.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. And look, for me too, it was a bit like that because like once you go through the Heat system, like you play the game a certain way, and you basically willing to die out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you really buy into it,
Yeah.
like you really like, I don't care about getting elbowed. I don't care about nothing out here.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I got a job to do, and I'm gonna do it to the best and the hardest I can do it.
Man, listen.
So I definitely understand that. But man, that was some fun matchups, bro. I can't front. Playing in those series, bro, and playing with Ticket, you know, changed my life. Ticket
And
was
talk
one
about
of
that,
the
man,
best.
because regardless of, you know, the back and forth that we had, man, I got the ultimate respect for his game, his
Ticket,
leadership, you know, coming down the
Ticket.
basketball court and this calling out every pin down, every cross screen, just policing the defense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being that leader, you know, vocally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And by example.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just talk about the opportunity to play with KG and what, you know, what he brought to the game, what you was able to learn from him.
Ticket will unlock you. He'll unlock you in a way like he'll unlock the beast in you. He'll make, like Shaq, he'll make you feel appreciated. You know, he'll speak life into you.
Yes.
He'll tell you how cold you
That's
were.
leadership.
He told you
That's
what
leadership.
you need. Like, you know, he did the same thing the same way every time, every day. And I don't think he gets enough credit because, like, he was getting in hyperbaric chambers, getting massages,
Wow.
you know what I mean, doing all these different things with his body before it was the norm. And so now it's the norm to have normal techs and game readies and have all this stuff on the road, ice baths and things like that. Ticket was doing this stuff years ago,
Yes,
you know, putting us up on it. Come get in the hyperbaric chamber. It's going to help you with recovery. Here, come take some of this coconut water and put some chia seeds in it. So,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
they expand so they're going to hold hydration. You know, everything he did, it was with passion and things like that. But, man, playing with those great players like that, man, they enhanced the NBA experience. So I'm thankful I got an opportunity to play with all those guys.
And I'm thankful too because it's playing against people like Ticket and being in series like that bring the best out you
Absolutely.
and let you know what you really made of. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? You don't really know what you made of until you throw it in that fire.
Until you took the mouthpiece out and say, you can't go under this. I feel you. You need that.
Yeah,
You need
man.
them- you
Yeah,
need those
that.
moments.
So, you know, you go and you get towards the end and injuries, the injury bug. If I'm not mistaken, it's the hip.
Yeah, man, both of my hips are degenerative.
Yeah, it was
Both
the
of them are
hips.
degenerative. They started happening like around my last year in Orlando. That was one of the reasons I didn't re-sign with them. So I had to get surgery. I still have a tear in my labrum. You know, had to take a lot of cortisone shots and things like that to, you know, just to be able to go out there and perform.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got bit by the injury bug a little bit, and then I also got burnt out at the end of my career.
Yeah.
I got worn down. You know, had some incidents that happened that, like, you know, put me in a situation where I had to address some of my mental health.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, it didn't end the way that I wanted to end, but, you know, when one door closes, another opens. So I got an opportunity to work in the front office with the Celtics and
Yeah.
got to work for the Players Association and got to coach with the Utah Jazz. And so the game has
Yeah.
been good to me, even though I made mistakes
Yes,
and I've
sir.
had my shortcomings and
Yes,
I had
sir.
my failures that I, you know, take full responsibility for. You know, this game is still a game that keeps on giving. And
Yeah.
I'm still able to talk because I was in this particular game.
And I'm happy you brought that up because mental health, you was one of the first people I know that was vulnerable enough to speak openly about it. You know what I'm saying? As black men.
Yeah.
And as much as our fathers taught us, they didn't teach us to speak openly about our pain and our mental health and our suffering.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be internalized.
Yeah,
That
for
was
sure.
you're supposed to push through that. You're supposed to suck that up.
Mm-hmm.
But you was one of the first people that I saw that was open to talk about their mental health.
Yeah.
And I always admired that
Thank you,
about you
brother.
because behind the closed doors, I struggle with that. And now I do therapy.
Yeah.
And I have a therapist.
It
and I'm
helps.
very open about that.
It
But
helps.
you was ahead of the game speaking about that as a black man. So I'm gonna give you your flowers
Thank
on
you,
that.
brother.
But just talk about how important mental health has been, you know, for you.
It means everything, you know, holistic health, you know, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. And if you don't deal with it, you'll be out of alignment in other areas in your life. And it'll show up,
Yes,
whether
sir.
it's in anger, whether it's in, you know, over drinking or smoking or being promiscuous, whether it's in, you know, all these different, you know, side effects can come through it, whether it's anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts,
Yes.
all these different things. And so, look, it's only so much that you can carry, you know, before it weighs you down. what therapy does, it gives you the opportunity to, process it, what you experienced, get some tools to be able to deal with it, and then speak about it so you can get that load off of you.
Yeah.
So you don't find yourself in a constant state of being triggered.
Yes, sir.
And then you learn about your triggers and you learn about your traumas. And then once you embrace those different things, you might find a different piece of yourself, a different calling, a different skill set, a different talent. So I just think mental health as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we talked about some of the mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And obviously we all make mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So there ain't no judgment, you know what I mean? I definitely made some mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
We all have.
we talk about the mistakes and not only just the mistakes, but the bounce back.
Yeah.
The next phase after that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Getting back up and everything you're doing now. When I walked in the gym, I had the biggest smile on my face. I walked in the gym one day to pick up my son, and
That's
I see you
right.
in there working with the kids.
Let's go.
Getting
Let's
with
work.
it. So, just talk
Shout
about
out
the
to Remy.
recovery process, man, and just, everything you went through and where you're at now mentally, physically, emotionally, and how it helped.
Yeah. So, look, it's been a rough 2-year period, dealing with, coming from the apex, being in, coaching at the highest level
sir.
to being indicted. Hey, man, that's a long fall from grace,
sir. Yes, sir.
right? And then the fallout that comes along with it. So the silence, the isolation, you have to kind of reformulate who you are.
Yes.
You got to find new ways of earning and job opportunities and things like that. And then you're dealing with the system as well, because I was facing a lot of time and I had a lot of guys cooperate against me.
Yeah.
So to be able to stand in the face of that like a man and accept responsibility and not implicate or include anybody, I like the way that I handled that.
Yeah. For y'all at home, he's saying there was a lot of people that snitched on him, but he ain't snitch on nobody. If you can't understand this, we can keep going.
Yeah, I appreciate
everybody
the
don't understand.
translation.
You articulate it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what that is.
It's not necessarily, to me, it's not about that. You know what I mean? Because like as a man, you do something, you have to deal with the consequences.
Exactly.
So I'm big on consequences, because how can you get to the next level if you don't embrace what
But
you
the way the
do?
court systems works, that you had the opportunity to give up information to lessen your sentence, probably.
Yeah, could possibly.
You possibly
I wouldn't know, because
But you never went that route.
that wasn't the route that I chose to go. We Lauderdale.
You know how it go. First the tail, get the deal.
Yeah,
So
part
I'm
of the game.
First the tail,
Part
get
of
the
the
deal.
game. But for me, UD, it's like life is full of chapters.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And there's going to be some triumphs. There's going to be some tribulations. There's going to be some fun and some good times. And there's going to be some adversity. You have to embrace them all, because you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about people in the face of adversity. So for me, now I have new callings and new purposes and new passions that I'm serious about. Doing preventative things, having these conversations where, you tell your story, to maybe, help somebody avoid if they're making a decision that could potentially cost them their freedom. Doing prison reform and making sure that the rights that inmates have are protected, because it's rough in there.
Yeah.
And then using my voice, like not running away from, like, I'm a hooper at the heart. I love sports.
Yeah.
So being able to, talk on my podcast, Beyond the Narrative, the crossover. I do stuff with Matt on All the Smoke, Matt and Stat Jack over there on All the Smoke. And so, like, kind of finding my rhythm and my way in this space has been very therapeutic for me.
Love it.
Yep. So we just getting started, bro.
Talk about your podcast, bro, because I want to make sure we put that out there.
Absolutely. Yep. So a couple things that I do, man. One is the crossover down on Beyond the Narrative. We're just kind of getting started, but we got some big plans.
That's what's up.
My guy Nev, my guy Andy are the co-hosts on there along with myself. And we're just going to be building content, man. We got a good setup down there, and we're just growing. I get to go on All the Smoke twice a month right now. Two to three times a month.
Love what they're
right
doing
now.
over there. Shout out All the Smoke, man.
Shout out to Matt and Stack Jack,
What's
man.
up?
Matt, boy, thank you, champ. You know what I mean? Because, like, Matt really has helped me, get back on this track, man. He really believes in my talent and things like that. So salute to him and Stat Jack. But, man, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about, like, finding my voice, finding my rhythm, and finding the right place to be able to, bring my commentary.
Okay, I think we got a couple fan questions. We're gonna go to fan questions.
Okay.
Right here. But before we go to fan questions, I do have one question, man, and this is what I want to know. The everything you went through how was the process of keeping the family? Because I know how important family is to you. I know you're a family man.
Yeah.
And just tell me about the process of making sure I'm over here. I got to do this time.
Yeah.
But we still connected.
Yeah.
We still locked in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just tell me how you balance that out. Because when we talk about therapy, and one thing you said is about balance in life and having that balance. So just talk about the family dynamic and just keeping that structure.
Yeah.
Even though I'm over here and you over there, like I'm call you on this time, however it went.
Yeah.
I know you don't play about your family.
Yeah.
I know that. You don't play about your girls, you don't play about your kids, you don't play about that. You don't play. So just talk about that, because I'm sure that was probably the biggest hole
It was the hardest
that you
part.
had to cover.
It was the hardest part, man. Like, I got 4 children.
Yes.
Right? You know, and they all looked at me a certain way.
Yes.
And I've always been present in their lives, providing provision, leadership, vision, protection, you know, all those different
don't play,
things
boy.
for,
Daddy
you know, not only my
yeah.
kids, but
I
my
know.
wife and my extended family as
Yes,
well.
sir.
So that was the most difficult part for me. But what I had to recognize is that everybody gets to experience it in their own way, right? It's not just about me. So I had to remove my feelings and my emotions and how everybody received it.
Yes.
I had to move that out of the equation, and I had to make sure I set up the infrastructure for them to be able to live, to be able to eat, to be able to survive, and things like that, and allow all them to go through the anger,
Yes.
the distance, the time, the space, you know, and whatever phase that they kind of needed to go through while I was going through that. Because when you're going into that kind of environment, you gotta kind of turn the light switch on. Like it is, UD, let me tell you, it's real being locked up. It is not no play shit.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. But God kept us.
Yeah.
You know, our faith, our history, our love, and our respect for one another allowed us to navigate that situation.
Yeah.
Now, there was times where you had to take space.
That's beautiful. But
You know, and be
I get
quiet.
I get it.
Right? There was times where, you know, maybe my kids, you know, were missing me and would cry.
Yeah.
So it was a whole bunch of different things, but man, like if I had to say one thing that kept us through that, man, it was nothing but, you know what I mean? It was nothing but the Lord.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, preserving our family.
And I know it was tough in there.
Oh,
I know
boy.
you gotta get, but I know you ain't sweet.
I'm no.
Yeah, I know you ain't no sweet. You was in that motherfucker throwing up the air. Yeah. You was in that motherfucker throwing up the air.
I bid it good. I bid it good. Shout out to all my homies at Coleman who I was locked up with, man. Everybody, you know, it's all love. It's too many of you to mention your name,
love.
but you
That's
know,
love.
hope y'all doing well up in there.
That's love. So let's get to some fan questions, man. Here we're gonna go with one fan question. At GrizzINK. Who started the Celtics bench celebration? Dooling, Marquise Daniels, or Ryan Hollins? I don't know what bench celebration this is.
Man, you used to see us over there.
Oh
like this,
yeah, I remember that.
You used to see us
Yeah, I
over
do
there
remember
like
that.
this, man. Don't
That's
be-
some Florida shit. It had to be you and Marquise.
You know it was me and home team.
It had to be you and Marquise. That's some Florida shit.
And I remember we was on this couch one night, you know what I mean, vibing after the game. You know what I'm saying? You know how.
Yeah,
you know,
shout out Kesey, man.
Man, home team, boy.
Real one.
Man, shout out to Marquise Daniels, bro. We love you, bro.
Real-
Stay strong over there.
Man, real one.
But
Somebody else.
me and Keith was like, all right, what we gonna name it? And we just said we gonna name that bit. We flexing, and then Keith went right to the Twitter because his Twitter fingers was mean back then.
Man.
So like, you know, we named it right there, and you know that was our little rally cry.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I was a little jealous you and Keith got to play together.
I know, bro. It was fun playing.
I ain't gonna lie. I was a little jealous you and Keith got to play together.
was
We
fun.
all grew up together, playing against each other. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little jealous you and Keith got to play
Boy,
together.
me and home team we had a ball.
Hey, listen, you don't know how happy I was when you came to the Heat. I have an opportunity to play with one of your
Oh, man,
homeboys
it
that
was
you
fun.
grew up with. That's a big deal.
It was fun, bro. For sure.
Top 5 favorite teammates and why they are your favorite teammates.
Ooh.
Starting 5 using only your teammates. So we're gonna go top 5 favorite teammates and why they are your favorite teammates.
Man,
first.
that's so tough, you know, because I played with a lot of great guys. So I would say Shaq
We know
at the 5.
big fella.
I would say KG at the 4.
KG at
you
the
know,
4.
and it's just when I'm talking about
Kicking.
favorites, it ain't
Yes,
like
sir.
best or
Yes, sir.
whatever. It's just, you know, kind of my favorites. At the 3, I'll say Vince Carter.
Vince.
It was fun playing with Vince, you know, being able to play, you know, with him in New Jersey.
You got to play with all the Florida boys.
Huh?
You got to play with all the Florida boys.
I got to
It
play
wasn't
with
about,
a
it
lot
wasn't
of
about a
home team.
handful of us.
I know.
You got to play with all of us.
I got to play with a lot of the home team.
Damn.
And these probably gonna be 2 surprise picks because, like, man, I love playing with you and D Wade and Q Rich and D Miles and all those guys. But man, Eddie House was one of my favorite teammates to play
Eddie
with,
House
bro.
so goddamn funny.
Boy, E House, boy, that's my dog, bro.
Eddie House so goddamn funny, man.
E House and Jameer Nelson.
Yeah.
Jameer Nelson, you know, and damn, I mean that's
Jameer's
five
son,
right there.
Don't Jameer got a son that's balling?
Jameer got a son who balling.
Yeah,
he doing well. He's in the G League right now. And you know what, man? Yeah, Jameer, but Trevor Ariza too, boy. Me and Trev kicked.
I got a chance to play with Trev.
Me and Trev, boy.
Solid.
Me and Trev. But it's so many, you know, I enjoy playing with a lot of my teammates, bro. But those are probably my top 6 right there. I know that's more than 5.
Say, give me your starting 5. That's the favorites. Those are the ones. Now give me your talent-wise starting 5.
Ooh, talent-wise. So I'm gonna say D Wade, KG, of course.
Sir. Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Sure.
Shaq.
Shaq.
And these ain't positions.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard and
This one tough for you. This one gonna be tough for you.
yeah, this one is gonna be tough for me, but I'm gonna have to probably go with I'm gonna have to say Jesus Shuttlesworth. I'm gonna have to say Ray. Walter Ray, because like his pedigree, you know, and what he did, you know, for the game. I'm gonna have to say I have to throw Ray in there.
Ray was a real one.
Yeah, Ray was a great teammate.
Ray was a real one.
To me.
No.
Yeah,
I ain't had no problems with Ray.
Yeah.
I love Ray to this day.
I don't know, me and Ray ran the fade when he was in Seattle.
I seen that. That was crazy.
But
I knew somehow. I knew because you don't get mad like that. So I seen that something to make Keyon mad. I seen that.
Yeah, we ran the fade, but man, Ray
did you come running out the tunnel? And
I did, man.
Went back into the tunnel or something? What was wrong with you that day, man?
That's that unhealed.
You were acting like me.
That unhealed trauma we talk about. We ain't get it out, you know.
March Madness is back, baby. Go Gators. I see you making that deep running, attorney. Tommy John can't protect you against playoff upsets, but their limited edition basketball underwear can guarantee you a distraction-free viewing experience all playoff season. Avoid a backcourt violation with wedgie-proof underwear. No picks, no rolls, just silky soft comfort. They perfect to wear to dinner, the gym, the bed. They versatile, fellas. You can rock them anytime, anywhere, any place. Do what you want to do in them. Have a good time. You know how some of them other brands might be a little bit too tight, a little bit too uncomfortable in the right places? Tommy John stay right where they supposed to be and do right what they supposed to do, fellas. Ain't never got to worry about cheese in your ass. Fellas, Tommy John has definitely changed the game for me. It's the MVP of underwear. So make sure you go to the website, get right to it. Y'all go get 25% off right now on your first order at TommyJohn.com/OGs. Save 25% at TommyJohn.com/OGs. That's 25% off at TommyJohns.com/OGs. Man, I appreciate you, dog.
Man, I appreciate you too,
Chad. You got unlimited amount of knowledge and experiences, dog.
Thank you, bro.
And anybody working with you moving forward will be, lucky.
Thank you,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying? No, whatever level, whether it's basketball, whether it's life, you know what I'm saying? You're all around good dude, man. You're
Thank
always
you, bro.
my dog. So
Now do me one favor.
What's that?
Tell my boy from South Dakota,
Killer?
Micah Miller.
yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like next time, I come into the studio, he better have his ass
Hey,
here. I miss my boy. I ain't seen my dog in a long time, man. Send my love to Mike. I'm real proud of him.
When you got your own plane,
I know.
sometimes your captain don't, show.
I know.
But
He becoming the new Brett Barrett.
We do this thing called OG advice, and I usually do it, but I'm gonna let you do it today because ain't nobody got the gift of gab like Slim. You ever Slim Johnson? Ain't nobody got the gift of gab like
All right.
Slim Johnson, man. Give me some OG advice, dog.
OG advice. All right. So a couple things, man. Like leadership is not about your position. It's about your disposition. I believe it's a leader in each and every one of us.
Yes, sir.
Right. So find out what you're good at, cultivate that talent, develop that talent, and lead. Right.
Yes, sir.
And I also believe in order to be a good leader, you have to at once follow. So get some mentorship. Find a mentor, somebody you can learn from who can speed up your learning curve. Next thing I'll say is that like the biggest room in this building, the biggest room in your life is the room for improvement. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yes,
you
sir.
can get better. You can develop. You can work on those deficiencies. You can become a better human being. You can get healing. You can get forgiveness. You can work on anger. You can get better. The last thing I'll say is that, man, God is love. And
Yes,
I
sir.
love you. Learn how to love. Learn how to forgive. Learn how to heal. Learn how to be the best version of yourself.
Yes, sir.
And you are not defined by one mistake. It's not about the mistake. It's how you react to it. So OG advice from KD. Thank you
Hell
for giving me
yeah.
that opportunity. You put me on the spot there, boy.
I had to, but I know you were gonna come through.
You know it.
I already know you was gonna come through. OG's out, man.
Already. Love you, D. Love you, champ. You know it.